All right, guys, I want to tell you about an old battery case that I had. It just popped into my head. I'm working, and I figured I'd share this story. I'll just call it a story. So one day I'm working, and receptionist comes in. She says, "Hey, Roger, there's a guy here that wants to see you." And I said, "I don't think I have an appointment, but okay, can you have him fill out an intake sheet and name, address, phone number, what it's about? Bring it in. I'll pull it up on the computer. I'll tell him to give me 5 minutes and I'll meet with him." So a guy comes in and sits down and kind of like checking out my office kind of thing, checking out the pictures behind, right? And sits there. He's like, "Listen," he's like, "I need an attorney that's gonna fight." I go, "Okay. Well, tell me what's going on." Well, the other day, I was in an electronics store. I go, "Okay." And he goes, "I'm waiting in line." And this guy walks up to me and says, "You need to go to the end of the line." And I'm like, "Huh? Like, what are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, the back of the line's over here." And he's like, "Hey, buddy, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm standing in line. Been in line the last couple of minutes." Um, he says the guy gets, kind of overly aggressive with him. And he's kind of like up in his face. Now, my client's standing there and he's holding he's got a cart. I think he's returning something or getting a store credit for something. So he says this guy gets aggressive, but there's really only the one person up front and they're dealing with somebody. So he kind of looks around thinking, okay, maybe I get some help. And he's like, forget this. Like, he knows someone, either corporate or upper management, because he goes to this electronics store. He's like a computer guy or something. So he says, "Look, I just want to kind of get away from this guy. This guy is being overly aggressive. I leave my cart there in the place, but I walk over and I'm dialing the number." He goes, I think I'm doing the right thing." I go, "Okay." So he says he's calling and he's on the phone with like the manager or something, or a manager. And next thing you know, police show up and police go, "Hey, can we talk to you outside?" And he's like, "Okay." So he walks outside. He's talking to the guy. He's like, "All right, well, tell us, what happened." He's like, "What do you mean? Like this, standing in line, some guy gets aggressive with me. Nothing happened, but I mean, I was just on the phone calling the manager." And cop says, "Okay, hang on right there." Walks back. Next thing you know, they come back and they go, "Sir, you're under arrest for battery." He's like, "Huh? What are you talking about? Battery? What do you mean? What? Like," and the officer says, you punched the guy." He goes, "What are you talking about?" So he gets arrested. He's obviously very upset, and he doesn't know anything about the process. He has no prior criminal history. He's in his 40s. So I walk him through, hey, the arraignment, guilty or not guilty. We do that with a pleading. There's diversion programs where you enter into a program where you might take anger management, community service hours, pseudo probation, plea and pass, technical arguments like stand your ground, self-defense, etc. And then he goes, "I want to know about trial." So I walk him through. I said, "Well, listen, I never sign no one. I never sign anyone up to where they come to my office and I just go, 'All right, we're setting this for trial.' I, I don't. I listen to what they say. I take notes, and I was taking notes about what he's saying, and I have a very good memory for this. So I'm listening to him, and I said, 'Listen, let's go the cheap way at first. You can always, once we get discovery, we'll figure it out.'" Now, I read the police report, and it doesn't say anything about any witnesses. It's just this guy. It doesn't say anything about witnesses. It doesn't say anything about cameras. But I'm like, electronics store, right? Like, surely an electronics store's got some sort of security footage. So he doesn't know, and he's not allowed to go back to that, to that store where the fight happened. Apparently, they trespassed him or something. So I reach out to a friend who's a private investigator. I said, look, can you help me out a couple hours? Can you go over there, just check it out, see if they have cameras, whatever, find out the information I need for corporate and their legal department. So I end up sending a subpoena. And during this time, the client calls here or there with a question, kind of minor questions, but one day he calls up, and his name's John, and John says, listen, um, I got a big family. I got my brother. I got two brothers. I got a sister. I got my wife's family. I got my brother-in-law on that side. I got I got a couple teenage kids, and everybody's saying, "Hey, this is ridiculous, and how can I be charged? How can someone accuse me of doing something when I didn't do anything, and how can I actually get arrested for that?" And I go, listen, man, it happens, right? I mean, testimonial evidence, it can happen, right? If you and I, he's in my office, so I said, look, if I walk outside right now in my office and I say, John, just slap me in the face, right? And my face is all red now, right? And I dial 911 and I say, oh, this guy John's crazy, just like slap me. I said, you'd get arrested. He's like, there's no evidence. I'm like, well, my evidence is I just said that this is what happened, and look at my face. You beat me up pretty good, right? He's like, this is unbelievable. Like, I can't believe this happens. Like, I've never been involved with this. And I go, listen, man, just take a deep breath, woosah. Let me work on the case. This is what I do, right? So he wants to come in with the family. I go, please, just let me get the video, right? Let me get the video first. So I acquire the video and I call him up and I say, and he goes, yeah, I want to bring my family. And it's like 10 people. We don't have a conference room that big. My office isn't big enough to hold 10 people. But anyway, grab some chairs out of my office, grab some chairs out of, another office. And we get 10 people in the conference room. And he's like, so what do you think? And I'm like, I haven't watched it yet, right? So I hit play and everyone's watching. I actually carried my computer into the conference room. It's a pretty good sized computer, so I just carry it over there at Apple, and I hit play. And it looks like here comes John into the electronics store. And John walks over, and it looks like there's someone, I don't know if there's a line, but there's someone standing there. It looks like a line, but the person that's behind the counter, you can't really see them. It looks like maybe they're doing something. They kind of come in the frame and out of the frame. And it almost looks like, the guy's kind of like points like behind them, like, hey, right here, kind of. I'm thinking maybe it's like, hey, this is the end of the line. I don't know what he's saying because there's no audio, right? So next thing you know, you see my client go, and the guy's kind of looking at him, and then boom, 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 and my client just punches the crap out of the guy, like punches him 3 times in the face. Like there's no argument, there's nothing going on, just punches him 3 times in the face, and then proceeds to walk away. It's like the craziest thing, and you see the guy like holding his face, kind of thing, and I kind of look around the room, and no one's saying anything. I mean, they're, family members are kind of like, what the, what? But I go, let me rewind it again because John hasn't said anything. So, again, the whole video is only like a minute and a half. It's not a huge, video. Story's a lot longer. So, minute and a half, and play it again. And then John sits there, watches it. And then John goes, so we got a good case, right? I mean, it's like, I didn't hit the guy. Like, I didn't do anything. And I'm like, am I being pranked? Like, what? Like, do we? And then his brother says, so what do you think? And I'm like, about what? Well, in your professional, experience, how do you think this would go down? Well, I mean, I think the video speaks for itself. I think that would be a very difficult thing to go to a jury trial. And, John, my job's to protect you from the system, to mitigate the circumstances, and also to protect you from yourself. And I think if I went to trial, you'd probably end up in a jail cell. And he's like, for what? Like, what? He's like, and I go, well, John, you could surely see how someone could say that you attacked this guy without being provoked, right? He's like, I guess anyone could say anything, right? And I'm like, and then like I think it's his sister. His sister chirps in, and she's like, John, like I kind of like you listening to what Attorney Foley's saying, like the video doesn't look too good. He's like, yeah, but I mean, the video can be interpreted like, everyone has a different interpretation, right? Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone, like, okay. So he's sitting there and we talk for a while and he's just going, well, what about when that's not all the video, right? There's video of me walking in. There's video of me going over to like the computer section and the stereo section, and what about? And I'm like, okay, well, I think the main section is the section where, the incident occurred. He's like, I got to think about it. I got to think about it. And I said, all right, well, yeah, no rush. We don't even have discovery yet, that kind of thing. So this guy's calling me and saying, and I just think we should go to trial. And I'm going, huh? Like, I end up thinking, I'm like, all right, there's got to be something wrong with him, right? There's got to be some sort of competency issue. Like he's not registering. His own family's kind of going, hey, be careful. You go to trial on this. So I end up, filing a motion for competency, and he gets evaluated. And the doctor says he's fine, that he's competent, and he understands, and he can help with his defense and all those wonderful things. And of course, he's mad at me that I got a competency, and I explained that we do this in a lot of cases, the vast majority of cases. And so he's wanting to go to trial, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, you understand if we go to trial and you lose, you're going to go to jail for a year. And yep, and I don't want to take someone's money like I'm going to lose, right? And I know some people be like, just take the money, go get a free trial, so to speak. But that's not my personality. His family ends up talking to him, and then he reluctantly agrees, and I'm able to get him a year of probation, withhold of adjudication, and he's able to early term after 6 months. But talk about delusional. I don't even know what the word is. The guy would not acknowledge, even though it was right there on video, that he punched another person in the face for really no reason. And it was a battle. It was just it was a battle because I literally thought I was being pranked by someone. I mean, I don't have 10 people come to my office every day, et cetera, et cetera. It's like a video. I'm like, what the hell? But no, real stuff. Anyway, I'm attorney Roger B. Foley, just sharing a story before I head out for the night. See ya.